What is up, guys? My name is Harris, and welcome back to the channel. Today is a brand new video. And of course, keeping up with the 365 days, 365 movies, this is the month of October 2024. Good amount of stuff watched. Basically, at least one thing every day. I only missed 2 actual days, but more than made up for it. We're going to get into it. There's a decent bit of movies that I've watched that are in my collection. And of course, because it was October, 95% of what we watched, me and my best friend, was horror themed, or I should say what I watched. A lot of it was with my best friend. A lot of horror films. So, yeah, we're going to get right into it because I've got a lot to talk about. And, yeah, so again, we're going to get right into it. On the 1st of October, we watched Poltergeist, Night of the Chicken Dead. Yes, we watched another film by Troma. Oh boy, how the hell do we talk about this without just getting demonetized right off the bat? So Poltergeist is a movie, again, by Troma, directed by Lloyd Kaufman, I believe written by Lloyd Kaufman. This is a film about a guy who gets a job at a fast food place, a chicken joint. Gets to work at a fast food place, and there ends up being a shipment and includes an egg, or these eggs, that make the chicken into these mutated disasters, and it ends up turning the people into zombies. Some type of zombie. This movie is probably the most disgusting film I've seen. And I don't say that as in like, I was offended by this movie. No, it was just visually disgusting. I didn't enjoy a lot of it. I thought some of it was dull. I thought a decent part of the movie was kind of boring. There was a lot of what the fuck moments in this film. There's of course the scene in the bathroom, which if you've seen this movie you know, and if you haven't, God bless you. Yeah, Poltergeist. We at least had fun with it. We could talk about it, and yeah, it was a film that we watched, and it's a film that we watched. That's probably the most I can say about it. I wouldn't recommend this to a lot of people. I respect Lloyd Kaufman and I respect Troma for getting this movie done despite all the apparent issues in getting the film made in the first place. So, yeah, Poltergeist. Okay film. Not great. Also, not that good. But yeah, so Poltergeist, it was kind of whatever. So yeah. And then, on the first thing that we watched, and we're going to get through all of these, by the way. We watched the first Final Destination. So, yeah, of course, this is the first in the series of soon-to-be 6 films. Bloodlines is coming out, I think it's January of 25, I forget. And it was coming out relatively soon. But Final Destination, of course, everybody who's a horror fan, I think, knows the basic plot. There's some type of tragedy that goes on. There's some people, there's always one who has a premonition of what happens, and him and a couple people get off, and they end up cheating Death, and Death has to make up for his mistakes. I guess it's never explained how these people see these premonitions. It's just they just have them, and they run into Tony Todd, usually at least one per movie, except for the fourth one, I think, or the third one. I think it's the third one. The first one here. Now, I'm going to get into technical spoilers. I mean, it's more so spoilers for what the big event at the beginning is. So if you haven't seen the Final Destination films and the basic plot sounds fun, go check them out and come back here. But the first one, it's, of course, the plane crash. It's pretty good, actually. I think the first Final Destination is the one that's actually a good film. I think from here, they kind of get worse and worse. Like, the first one was good. It's got Seann William Scott, first of all. It's got Devon Sawa, who's the dude from that John Travolta mentally challenged movie. I can't remember the name of it right now. I was going to say Gotti. But that's a different John Travolta mentally retarded film. But yeah, first one, Final Destination. It's the plane crash. Devon Sawa gets the premonition of the plane crashing and blowing up in midair. He and a couple people get off, and they end up having to die. Seann William Scott has a pretty fun death on a train track. They end up trying to go to Paris. There's one guy who gets choked out by plastic wrap in his bathroom. And yeah, it's actually a pretty interesting film. Tony Todd's fantastic in all of these, but the first one, he's good. So I'm gonna leave it really short and simple. I'm trying not to make this video an hour long, but it's probably gonna be anyways. But the first Final Destination, solid. It's fun. I thought it was alright. And I'm not gonna get too much into this because I haven't watched the last 2 episodes yet. But the Rebuild, we watched episode 5 tonight. That night, the second. It was good. It was fun. It's a really, really good documentary series. I highly recommend it. Apparently, again, I don't know if this is legit, but they're apparently filming a season 2 this season, so that'll be fun to watch. But we watched episode 5, and yeah. And then on the 3rd, we watched Final Destination 2. You Can't Cheat Death Twice. Weirdly, a lot of people remember this being a direct-to-DVD sequel, despite the fact that it was in theaters. Yeah, this is the one where it's that big traffic jam, and the truck carrying the logs, the chains break, and the wood gets everywhere. There's a big car crash incident. I thought this one was alright. I think this is the only sequel that you could say is good. At least I think so. I think the deaths are still great in this one. I believe this is the one where the dude he's making dinner after he won the lottery. I think it's this one. It might be the 3rd one, but I'm pretty sure it's this one. Where he's making dinner, and he drops his wedding ring or whatever. He drops a ring down the sink. He sticks his hand in the sink. He gets it. It's stuck. And of course, the spaghetti he's cooking gets on fire, and his apartment gets on fire, and he jumps out the window, and he lands on glass because I think he threw something out earlier that broke. Because the windows explode because of the heat, and it's on the ground, and he falls on the glass, and he gets fucking impaled. That, I think, is probably the best death in this movie. I'll be honest, aside from the kills, there's really not a lot of interesting plot to these films. It's literally just, hey, these characters cheated death. How are they gonna die? How they try to stop it, and they can't. So yeah, Final Destination 2. And that's another thing as well. At least for the early films, it doesn't really pick up in the later films. But in the early films, it's always expected by the cops that, like, the main dude or the main woman is the one doing the murders. And it never really fully gets resolved. I think the second one's the one with the ambulance, where the girl has to drown or whatever. It was stupid. I didn't like. And then on the 4th, we ended up watching Final Destination 3. I told you guys, we watched all of these. We got through them. This one was okay. I mean, we unfortunately didn't end up watching the Choose Their Fate version. We watched just the regular version because we don't live together yet. So it was literally just we just watched the version that was on. I think it was on Netflix. I think. Or no, I forget if they were just taken off Netflix or if we were just in time to watch them before they got taken off. But yeah, Final Destination 3. This is one with the roller coaster at the beginning. I thought it was fun. I thought the opening, I should say, was fun. I thought it was pretty cool. I think that the concept of the Choose Their Fate version is pretty cool. But the version that we watched, it was alright. I mean, I can't really think of any of the deaths aside from the tanning salon. And that one was kind of brutal. It was a lot worse when I was a kid. I remember it being a lot worse than it actually ended up being. What was it with, like, the mid-2000s having people die in salons? It was this movie and Deuce Bigalow European Gigolo that I've seen that have deaths like that. But yeah, Final Destination 3 was okay. And then on the 5th, we watched The Rebuild Episode 6. This is when they get into the trade deadline. They're talking about Savard and like guys like Anderson, and talking about if they want to make any trades. And there's a really funny moment in this episode where, and I don't want to spoil it, so if anyone who hasn't seen the Rebuild series yet, go watch it, because it overall is really good. Again, we still got to watch the last 2 episodes, and I haven't yet. But in this episode, there's a really, really funny, I'll say, mute, I'll do this when it's time to watch, alright? So, when it's kind of, you know what I mean. So, there's a funny moment in this episode where they're talking about, okay, well, do we want to trade this? They're talking about Jake Allen, because Jake Allen's about to get traded to Jersey. They're talking about Tom Fitzgerald or whatever, and they're waiting on a call on him. And they get a call, and it's a goddamn scammer. So yeah, I think that was hilarious, and I love that moment. I thought that was really funny. So yeah, the rebuild episode 6. It was fun. That moment was fun. It was very fascinating as well to get seeing what it's like on trade deadline for the GMs. It's not necessarily as super chaotic as I think we all expected. It's just it's pretty cool though. And then that night on the 5th as well, we then watched. I think that was actually right after Final Destination 3, but it was after midnight when we watched it. But that night we then watched the Final Destination in 3D. This is the cool lenticular cover. I unfortunately don't have the slip for this one anymore. I used to have the slip cover, but somehow it got thrown out. So I just have the DVD with the cool little lenticular thing there. This DVD's really heavy. The 4th one, this is the only one that I watched as a kid because it's the only one I had when I was a kid. So 8, 9 years old, I watched this one. I thought it was awesome. It's really bad. It's really not that good on a rewatch. And you know what? I can't even say that I'm like... Alright, I can't even say it's like, oh, I want it to be good. No, I knew going in, this is the 4th one, it's not going to be as good as I expect. And yeah, no. I will say, might honestly be my favorite opening of any Final Destination film. The NASCAR race at the beginning, I still think is really, really good. A lot of build-up. It takes the first, 20 minutes of the film, I'm pretty sure. And you see, everything play out, and then, obviously, it happens again. The death in the swimming pool with the dude getting his ass sucked. I think that... my mom doesn't go home, so I'm pretty sure the first thing she's heard me say is getting his ass sucked. But, yeah, that's always fun for me. The one in the movie theater was great. The racist dude who gets who gets on fire and gets dragged down the street by his tow truck, I think, as Why Can't We Be Friends is playing. Great death. I think that's one of the best in the whole series, in my opinion. So some of the best deaths are in this film. It's just that the overall film isn't good. You don't care about the characters, which, I mean, it's Final Destination. Are you really meant to care about the characters? No, but you try to, because you want to get invested. And 4th one, it's kind of bad. I'll be completely honest. And then, because this is the only one that, as of right now, before Bloodlines come out, the only one that I haven't seen, surprisingly, or the only one that I don't have on DVD, is Final Destination 5. Yeah, I think this was the original teaser poster. I didn't grab any of the actual posters because I really like this one with the 5 through the skull. But Final Destination 5, it was okay. It was really bizarre because it felt like they were kind of leaning into the self-awareness at the time. Because some of these movies, some of the films have really fucking funny dialogue, and doesn't intend to be really funny. So I think with 5, they kind of leaned into that, casting some comedic actors, like the dude who looks like Jared from Subway, just thankfully not a child predator. David Koechner. Well, hopefully not a child predator as well. David Koechner is in this. He's phenomenal. I love David Koechner. Sucks he's not in this for too long. Spoilers. This one, the big car crash, the big incident is the bridge collapse, which I think is really, really well done, especially for probably having the least amount of a budget, I would think, for the Final Destination films up to this point. But yeah, it's the bridge collapse I think is really well done. The ending of this film, I don't want to talk about it for those who haven't seen the film yet, but what I'll say is it's really goddamn funny. Spoilers for those, mute. I'll give the thumbs up when it's time to come back in. So this movie reveals that it's actually a prequel to the very first Final Destination. Yes, that's right. This is the first, apparently. This is the first Final Destination, technically, in the series. It's revealed that the car crash at the end, or the plane crash at the beginning of the first one, is the same one going to Paris that these guys are getting on at the end. And yeah. So, my guess is that Bloodlines is going to tie that in. Because you had these guys who ended up being at the beginning of the first film. You're probably going to have someone who was at the end of the first movie who also ended up being at the end of at the beginning of the second movie, and yada yada yada. So yeah, they do reveal that. So yeah, there you go. Thumbs up. You guys can unmute now. I don't know why I'm saying you guys can unmute now, as if the people he muted can't hear me unless they did unmute when I put the thumbs up, whatever. And then after the ending of the film, they have a really, really cool montage set to AC/DC's If You Want Blood. You got it. Fantastic. I always remembered that. Even when I hadn't seen this film as a kid, that was one thing I'd always see in this film was that that ending montage, which I thought was phenomenal. Well worth the movie that we had to sit through. It's badass. It shows every death in the series. It's really well done. And this one as well has probably the death I hated the most as a kid. That was another clip that I'd seen, was the gymnastics death. That was always one as a kid that I hated watching when I was 9, 10 years old. And this movie came out and I saw clips. That was when I'd seen and I hated it. Looking back now, like having watched it for the first time in a decade, it was really laughably bad. The effects were really not that good. But, well, for that death, I should say. Final Destination 5, though, it was at least enjoyable. None of these films are necessarily straight bad. They can at least be enjoyed if you want to laugh at them. The first one, and you could argue the second, but the first one is legitimately, like, good. It's a good movie. I think it's fascinating. By the time you get to 5, it's like, let's just watch people die. Let's just have fun with this. Let's just watch people die, which is conveniently the plot of the Faces of Death remake, probably. If they call it Faces of Death Remix, I might go see it in theaters, honestly. But yeah, Final Destination Bloodlines is coming out. I will not be there. I'll wait till it comes out on digital, more than likely. So, Final Destination 5, that movie exists. Next up, then on the 7th, we watched Candyman. So, another Tony Todd. We went from one series where Tony Todd is prevalent to one where he's kind of prevalent. He's kind of there. I mean, the first Candyman, we didn't watch the sequels, by the way, or the remake. We just watched the original, the first one from 92. This wasn't that good. I don't get the big fuss over this one. The kills were really heavily censored, from what I remember. It's really kind of less of a horror film and more of a semi-political drama, kind of. So, of course, Candyman. You say his name five times in a row, bathroom with the lights off, he comes and kills you. You know, there's a little hook handy thing that he's got. Hopefully he's not giving handies with that, but he's got his little hook hand, and he goes and kills you if you say his name 5 times. There's this girl who's trying to, like, discover who Candyman is. He's, like, trying to lure her in to, I think, be the next Candyman. And she ends up running to this poor couple, or this poor single mother who's living in the projects, and she's got this daughter, and the daughter ends up getting kidnapped by the Candyman, and it was just, for a plot that sounds like, oh wow, this sounds interesting, it was really boring. There was not nearly as much Tony Todd as I thought there would be. I knew he was an omnipresent kind of paranormal type of figure, but I didn't think that he'd only be in the film for like 20 total minutes. A lot of the film is without Tony Todd, which is very disappointing to me. I really wanted a lot of Tony Todd, and hopefully in Farewell to the Flesh, if we ever watch that one, there's a lot more Tony Todd. So, yeah, Candyman from 92, going in expecting a lot of talking and not a lot of action, and you'll be fine. And then on the 8th, this was probably the biggest disappointment of the month, because I've had this film recommended by a couple people, and I see online, you know, when I look up best horror films of the 2000s, this film always shows up, and I don't get why. And that film is Session 9 from 2001. I was really disappointed in this film. I went into it expecting something pretty good, you know. Matt Norton, who's a friend of the channel, he said that this is one of his favorite horror films, and I don't get it, Matt. I'm sorry if you're watching this, man. I don't see it. The very basic plot of this film, and I don't want to try and spoil too much. These guys who repair houses, they do like insulation stuff like that. They remove asbestos from houses and stuff like that and buildings. They're hired to do this one place by the lead dude is the one who really gets them the job, David Caruso. I believe he's the one from CSI who always has the one-liners with the glasses. He's that dude. He was good in this. I thought the cast was good. The cast overall was good. It's just everything else that kind of fell around the movie. So they get hired to do this job to remove asbestos. And the place is a little creepy. It's kind of haunted. You can kind of tell. And it's basically just about them going there, doing the job, and there's something a little beyond, you know? That's what I'm going to say. The plot sounded interesting when I wanted to watch the movie, and we watched it, and oh boy, low budget is right. And I don't hate on low budget movies. I like some low budget movies. I hate some low budget movies. I love Toxic Avenger. Yeah, Avenger. You guys saw either September or I think it was August when we watched it. I had a lot of fun with that movie. I thought it was great. But Session 9, it just didn't tickle my fancy. It wasn't that good, unfortunately. I went into this wanting to really like this film. We started up and I was like, alright, here we go. This is going to be great. This is one of the best horror films of the 2000s. This is going to be awesome. And I didn't care for it a lot. I liked the progression that it took. I loved the stuff with the tapes that you get throughout. I loved that acting, you know, on the tapes, the girl and the woman interviewing the girl. I thought that shit was fantastic. I think if you made the whole film focus on that, which, I mean, it technically is in a way, but again, no major spoilers. But I love that. I love the stuff with the tapes. Everything else, it just... There are some overacting moments. There's a moment where they're all disagreeing because one of the guys ends up going missing. Partway through, they have to hire another guy to come in and fill in. And the dude, he goes missing. He's kind of a guy that's really unreliable. He's not a guy that you can really trust, you know. But he goes missing and he turns back up. One of the coworkers sees him. One of the workers sees him, goes to everybody else, and they're talking. He'd seen him by the window. They go to that area, whatever, and they start having a bit of an argument. And David Caruso, someone says "fuck you" to him, and in one of the funniest moments in a horror film I've ever seen, full on like comedy film zoom in, he goes, "No, fuck you," and I'm gonna see if I can put the clip in. My best friend clipped it for us because we loved that moment. I'll see if I can put that in here because that fucking sent us out of this orbit. We were lost by the film at that point. We just started not making fun of it, but we just started quoting that after a character said anything. It felt like it was just, we technically had a good time with the film. We just didn't like it as much as a lot of people did, and it sucks because I think the twist that the film has made sense. The twist made sense. We just had a lot of fun making fun of it because of what the film had built up at that point. So, Session 9 unfortunately wasn't good. Hey, you know what? Some people's opinions are wrong, and in this case, the vast majority of the population who've seen this film are wrong, unfortunately. Next up, a film which a lot of people are also wrong about. That is the Texas Chainsaw Massacre Part 2 from '86. I should mention, I forgot to, by the way, Final Destination 1, 2000, 2 was 2003, 3 was 2006, 4 was 2009, and 5 was 2011. So, fuck waiting until 2012 to release Part 5. We're doing it a year early. Session 9 was 2001, by the way. So, Texas Chainsaw Massacre Part 2. This was fun. This was a lot of fun. You know, and I know there's a lot of people who went into this when it first came out, and even now probably watch it for the first time, and they're completely turned off by the film. They don't get why it's not gritty and dark and as spooky as the first film. The first film's really good, by the way. But Tobe Hooper, I believe, had always said he wanted to do something different with Part 2. And he kind of went in a horror comedy kind of route. I mean, shit, the opening with those two dudes in the car, and it's set in Texas again with their two. They overact a ton, but that's fun. And Leatherface appears in the car with the dead body in front of him, and he's wiggling the chainsaw. This is the movie where he starts doing that fucking walk every time he wants, or that fucking stand in place with the chainsaw. This is the movie that I'm pretty sure it's the movie where he started doing it. If not, it's the movie where they really went over the top with him doing it. But yeah, that opening I think was really fun. The girl, I believe Phoebe, I think was her name. I might be thinking of McKenna Grace from Ghostbusters now that I think about it. I might be. But the girl Phoebe, I think of the radio station, I think she was really good in this. Chop Top, of course. How can I not fucking mention Chop Top? Played phenomenally by, and I gotta look up his name because I know it's not Jim Saito. Jim Saito is the dude right here who's the only recurring actor from the original. He was fucking fantastic. I just gotta look up because I know he was in Devil's Rejects. He's the dude who was in Bill Moseley. Bill Moseley is phenomenal as Chop Top. He's fantastic in Devil's Rejects as well. We unfortunately didn't get to watch that this month. I might pop that in this month though, because I'm feeling in a real big Devil's Rejects mood, because that's a great film. The only good Rob Zombie film. Just like how the only good Rob Zombie song is Dragula. Burn through the witches and dig through the ditches, I slam in the back of my Dragula. So yeah. Where did that come out of? So yeah, Texas Chainsaw Part 2. I thought it was fun. We had a lot of fun with it. It was really good. Of course, how do we not mention, firstly, the Breakfast Club parody poster. Love that. Dennis over-the-top fucking Hopper as the sheriff in this film. I'll take you to hell as he's fucking chopping the goddamn stuff with the chainsaws. He's got 3 goddamn saws, 2 in his pockets, and 1 that he holds normal. Like, how do you not love this film? This is just hilarious. It's a great example of how to do a horror comedy and subvert expectations from the first of a series of films that would only get fucked in the ass harder and harder and harder with each new installment. Barring the remake from 03, because I've heard that one's actually pretty good. And I believe 06 is the beginning. I think I've also heard is pretty alright. But yeah. So Texas Chainsaw 2... I had a lot of fun with it. I'm a fan, you could say. And next up, we watched another sequel to a film that we'd already seen. Don't worry, we have seen Texas Chainsaw before, don't worry. Child's Play 2. We watched this one on the 10th. This one, it was alright. I mean, I want to preface this. I'm not a huge OG Chucky fan. I'm not a fan of Child's Play. When it gets into Of Chucky, big fan. Love Bride of Chucky. Seed of Chucky, call me crazy. I enjoy. Maybe it's because fucking Jennifer Tilly technically shows her tits, but yeah, don't judge me. Didn't watch Curse, I think. Curse and Part 3 of Child's Play are the only ones I haven't watched yet. Cult was really fun, though. I really enjoyed Cult of Chucky. We both did when we watched it. Cult of Chucky, we thought that was really fun when we watched that last year. But, also, you might be wondering, Harry, what fucking order did you watch these films? I'm pretty sure it was 1, original Child's Play, Seed, Bride, no, 1, Child's Play, Seed, Cult, then Bride. I'm like 99% sure that's how it went. It might have gone Bride, Seed, then Cult, but I'm pretty sure that was the order that it went in. So, and now 2 we can add here. So yeah, I'm not a huge fan of Chucky when they're trying to take him like mostly serious with just his one-liners basically being like the only comedy. I'm a huge fan of horror comedy Chucky, which don't know how that translates to the series because we watched the first episode and we haven't watched much else of it yet. We've been meaning to, we just haven't yet. Shout out at getting canceled after 3 seasons. Rip Jennifer Tilly. She hasn't died, but just rip Jennifer Tilly on that show because I really wanted to see more sexy Jennifer Tilly. But yeah, I know people are going to be saying, hey, go watch the fucking, what was her movie she did? I gotta look up the movie. What the fuck is the movie? Harry, go watch Bound from 95. It's like, believe me, I want to. But yes, so enough sipping over Jennifer Tilly and talking about my history with the Chucky films. Child's Play 2 was alright. Of course, after the events of the first movie, he's been taken away from his mother, aka the actress who played her, did not want to come back. So now Chucky, so now, I was gonna say Matt. fucking what's his name? Alex. Alex is with a new pair of foster parents who have this daughter. This other foster kid. There's a teenage girl. And Chucky finds him there and tries to fucking take over his body. That's the basic plot of these films early on. 2 was alright. I mean, there's not a ton of kills, weirdly, in this one. I think the death of Chucky in this one is fucking really good, actually. Looks really mangled up in this one. It was okay. It wasn't that great, but it was what I expected out of a Chucky film, so can't really be disappointed too much. Alright, we are half an hour in. We're into a little section here where we get into movies I've already seen, so I'm not going to talk about them too much as opposed to films that I've seen for the first time, especially because a lot of these films you guys probably know my thoughts on them already because of the top 100 favorite movies, or maybe I mentioned them in previous countdowns, so yeah. We've got Coraline. I've mentioned before, I really enjoy this film. Coraline from 2009. Really fun kids animated horror film. We watch this at least once every Halloween season. It's one of our staples. Right up there with like Hocus Pocus and Trick or Treat, which we'll get to. Spoilers. But Coraline, really fun. Really love it. If you want to hear my thoughts on the film as a whole, potentially just wait. And then we watched that on the 11th. We skipped the 12th. And on the 13th, we watched... I was about to pull something out that I did not mean to just yet. We watched Late Night with the Devil for the first time. For the second time. First time this month. October 13th. Very fitting, actually. Again, Late Night with the Devil. This is a really, really good film. Second time watching it this year. I believe second time while I've been doing 365 movies, I think. Really good film. David Dastmalchian is fantastic. As the late night TV show host, Jack Delroy. The girl, Ingrid Torelli, which I'm really hoping I'm saying her name right. She was fucking amazing as the little girl Lily. She was really creepy. She played her part perfectly. I thought she was really good in this, and I'm hoping that she gets more work. I want to see her in more stuff real soon. Overall, the film was really good. Of course, there are some complaints upon a second watching that. Not huge on the show being filmed with modern day cameras, but just with a filter to make it look like the 70s. That I wasn't a huge fan of, especially considering that they went into a lot of effort building the set and putting it together to be a real set, you know. And the cameras they filmed with just 3 like a real talk show, which is why some of the angles, you know, they might look bad initially because that's how a late night show from the era looked. So it sucks they couldn't film with even like 80s or 90s cameras. Really dive into that aesthetic with the cameras. That's something that just kind of ticked me off just slightly. I say that and then it turns out, hey, they actually did film with the cameras and just upscaled the footage, but no. But yeah, Late Night overall though was really, really good. I thought it was still really good on the second watching. Highly recommend this to anyone who hasn't seen this yet. I will say as well, I'm not a huge fan of the ending. I think that it should have ended 10 minutes earlier than it did. I think when the stuff with Lily and the electricity happens and all that, and Jack's pounding on the set to open for him to leave, I think that's where the movie should have ended. I don't think that extra bit at the end was needed. I think if you wanted maybe drop a couple clues as to that being what happened in the last 10 minutes throughout, I think that would have been a little better personally. I was not a big fan of the ending. I mean, it gives us good acting from David Dastmalchian, so I'm fine with that. But overall, I think if you recut the ending differently and just film it with 70s cameras, I think this would be a damn near perfect horror film. I mean, there's probably still stuff you can probably nitpick, and maybe if I really, really thought about it, watch this movie every day for like a week, I could probably find some stuff to nitpick about, but like, really good film though. Late Night with the Devil, great film. Definitely recommend it. And then, on the 14th, we watched Shaun of the Dead. This is another one of our staples of the horror season. Shaun of the Dead, funny as hell film. This is a comedy horror film. Thinking about it, I don't know if I put this in the horrors or the comedies, but thinking about it, maybe Shaun of the Dead would be best under the comedies instead of the horror films. But yeah, Shaun of the Dead. Of course, this is a movie about a guy named Shaun, played by Simon Pegg, who, everybody knows the plot of Shaun of the Dead. Come on. He He's kind of a low life or no life guy. He's got a job he doesn't like. He goes to the pub every night, and he's drinking his life away. His girlfriend breaks up with him, and it just so happens the zombie apocalypse happens that night. Some zombie outbreak happens. It's not a complete apocalypse, it's just an outbreak in London. And he has to try and save himself, his best friend, his girlfriend, his mother, and his girlfriend's friends. Hilarious film. Nick Frost says the gamer word, which I think is really funny. And yeah, Shaun of the Dead, highly recommend it. Fantastic film. Love it. Can't recommend it enough. A film that I probably can't recommend, I can't recommend less, is Thanksgiving from 2023. What the fuck happened? So now anybody who's seen Grindhouse, not Grindhouse films, but Grindhouse, the double feature from Robert Rodriguez and Quentin Tarantino, Death Proof and Planet Terror. Anyone who saw this in theaters or saw it on the Blu-ray probably saw the original teaser, the original fake trailer for Thanksgiving from Eli Roth, which was really fun. It was really, really good. Really set the mood for a potential Thanksgiving horror film because it looked really fun. What the fuck happened? I get it's 16 years later. So maybe the passion was lost, or maybe it just was like, hey, let's cash in on kind of 2000s nostalgia, because that's sort of happening slowly, I'm sure. It'll happen probably in the next 5 years, if it's not already happening. It seems to be 90s that are back in, unfortunately. But this film sucked. And I know, it's an Eli Roth film. It's actually, I think, the first one I've seen. But I know, with an Eli Roth film, you don't go in expecting good acting or a great story. You go in just to sit back, have some fun, and enjoy some brutal kills. Cabin Fever apparently is the only good Eli Roth film, and I would believe that. Green Inferno, I've heard, is just not a good cannibal film, and not that there's such a thing as a good cannibal film, but all right. But Thanksgiving sucked. Again, I'm sorry. It just wasn't a good film. The opening of this film felt like a ripoff of Krampus. The opening, like literally the opening 2 minutes of Krampus felt like it was extended to 20 minutes for no goddamn reason. Like, seriously, the opening of Krampus, the first 2 minutes, it's a great way to introduce us to the characters. Great way to introduce us into the film. Jolly Christmas music from Michael Dougherty, who we did watch another film of his, by the way, so we'll get into that in a little while. Shout out Michael Dougherty, phenomenal director. Can't wait for Trick or Treat 2. I really hope it does happen, because I want to see that really badly. But the opening 2 minutes, cheery Christmas music. It's like on Boxing Day, or it's a couple days before Christmas. And, you know, you're getting the camera, you're in a wide shot of the mall, and you're seeing people, you know, they're hitting each other, they're fighting over items, trying to buy stuff, and you get the zoom in on, like, this, like, school play or whatever that's going on, and the main character, Max, is fighting with another kid. You see the reactions of his family. The mother and the father, of course, are horrified, trying to get their kid off. That sounded really wrong. I should probably rephrase that, but fuck, I'm not going to. You guys get what I mean. The sister's laughing her ass off because, you know, her little brother's getting abused. Getting hit on stage, you know, so obviously being a teenage girl, you're going to find that funny. But you get a perfect set intro to the characters just off of that already, you know? And so it's extended to 20 minutes. It's a Thanksgiving Day sale or Thanksgiving sale or whatever's going on at this store, this department store, or this like mall or whatever. And all the characters are involved. So there's the main character. This is really fucking convoluted for no goddamn reason. So the main character has to go out and get a phone. And she's going with this group of characters. No, sorry. She's meeting up with a group of characters, with a group of her friends. They're going to go out, they're going to go party. But one of the dudes needs a phone, so they go to the mall when it's really busy. But the mall hasn't opened up yet because it's like fucking 5. So why the fuck isn't the store open? I don't know. Don't think. But it's like 5 p.m. The store isn't open. They're going, they need to get a phone or whatever. One of the guys who's at the main girl's house, one of her parents' friends, works at the mall. The dad stays home. The mother of the dad goes to the mall to give the fucking friend some food because he didn't get to stay for Thanksgiving dinner, so she went and gave him food. ha ha ha, hey, here you go, I'm fucking you on the side, but we're not going to reveal that until an hour into the movie. Yes, that is an actual thing that they reveal. I believe. I'm pretty sure. I don't think that was just my headcanon. But goes to give him food. The fucking mall shoppers fucking break past the goddamn security in the barricade. They break the fucking glass. One of the employees gets crushed by a fucking stampede of people in the fucking glass. One of the guys in the friend group is like a star baseball player, and he fucking gets his hand stepped on in such a fucking cartoonishy way that it like fucking like bends it like this or some shit, or like steps on his wrist or something. It's like, it was really fucking goofy. The fucking, I think the mom dies. I forget if it was I think it's the mom who dies, and we just fucking cut away. We don't get fucking like police no, just cut away after like 10 minutes. 10 minutes of this really, really shitty, overly long intro, which you didn't even really need. Like, I get it, it's Eli Roth, he's going to include death in his films, obviously. You need, like, a really fun opening to set the mood for the film. But it sucks! This is the only scene that you could say was interesting in the film. The rest of the movie is 1 year later, because nothing possibly interesting could have happened in that 1 year time frame. But it's a year later, and the store is going to have this sale again, and the dude who owns the mall, the dude who owns the store or whatever, I don't want to keep calling it a mall, because I'm thinking of a better movie in Krampus, and I really want this to be a better goddamn movie, like Krampus, but the store's going to have the sale a year later, and people don't like it, and there's this guy, the ball player, who kind of secluded himself from everybody after the incident. He comes back, and, you know, people think he's the killer, and there's a fucking dude in a goddamn fucking John Grisham or whatever his name is outfit, and he's going around, he's killing people. And the final act is so overly hilariously bad. And I don't really care about spoiling it. If I'm saving people from watching this movie. So the final act is basically all in this one room. That's revealed to be a place where the characters went much earlier in the film. And it's literally, laughably, in the other room. Literally. The room that they went into, it's like an abandoned house. You enter one door, and they're in that fucking room. So they more than likely entered this room in the earlier scene, because they were looking at a place to film a commercial for the fucking mall, whatever. So, anyways. So, it's in this place. They're all tied up and whatever. And it's like a Thanksgiving dinner or whatever. So the fucking killer, he puts something on the table, he opens it up, and it's the bald dude's, I forget if it's his wife. I forget if it's his wife. Because, keep in mind, he was cheating on her with the fucking main character's mom that had died the year prior. So I think it's like his wife is there. She was like literally cooked alive, and like that was an interesting kind of almost fun death. They just didn't go over the top with it to make it actually fun. Yeah, he starts killing the characters off. He's also streaming on fucking Instagram because it's 2014 apparently. I know Instagram's not completely irrelevant, it's just mostly irrelevant. But but yeah, the main character breaks free. She finds out that the killer wasn't actually the dude who came back a year later. It was a cop. It was a fucking... No. Sorry, no, it was... Sorry. The dude... The killer is the dude who's fucking the main character's mom. The dude whose wife he killed was the dude who owns the store. That's whose wife he killed. See, when you have like 15 characters in an hour and a half long film, nobody can follow this goddamn shit. Nobody can fucking follow this. So, the main character gets free, finds out it's the cop, and then kills the dude, except she doesn't because you gotta tease a fucking sequel that's actually happening. And also, Addison Rae is alive in this movie. She doesn't die. Fuck my ass. Alright, let's move on. Next up, on the 16th, we watched Never mind, oh, shit. We didn't watch that quite yet. On the 16th, we watched I got so riled up about Thanksgiving, I completely was about to skip over 2 films. But on the... Thanksgiving was fucking horrible. Don't watch it. 16th, we watched The Exorcist. For the first time ever from me, actually. I think it's my best friend's second time. I think. But my first time watching this movie, I had it on Blu-ray actually, and I believe this is the quote version you've never seen, which I think was the title when it came out originally. But this is the extended director's cut that we watched. It was good. It wasn't fantastic. It wasn't the scariest movie of all time, like a lot of people said it was. But it's understandable. For the time, it was probably really intense, really scary. There's a lot of build-up, and I really like that. I really appreciate that about the film. Even though I wasn't a massive fan of it, I thought it was good still. Borderline great, I think you could say. If you had told me that, hey, look, the exorcism happens in the last act, you know, the rest of it is all build-up. Because I thought it was going to be like 45, 50 minutes of really slow build with the exorcism. Not just like slow build into the last 20 being the exorcism. So there's a lot of build-up. There's a lot of mystery surrounding, you know, what's going on with Linda Blair's character. She's fantastic as a little girl, by the way. Linda Blair, fucking props to Linda Blair for this movie. She is fantastic. She also haunted my fucking dreams for a goddamn decade because of the Scary Maze game, so fuck you, Linda Blair. But at the same time, thank you, Linda Blair, for a really good performance in this. But but yeah, I'm sure she's heard that quite a lot. But yeah, The Exorcist, it was good. I really liked the build-up. I really enjoyed, you know, the mother bringing Linda Blair to the doctors, you know, trying to find out what's wrong. I thought it was a good film. I have unfortunately heard that it's better if you watch the theatrical cut first, because then when you watch the extended cut, you see what was changed, and it's one of those director's cuts where you kind of need to see the theatrical version first, but fuck it, I'm against all the rules. I watched the extended version first, and it was good. Maybe I would like the theatrical cut more, but it was alright. The Exorcist. And then on the 17th, and oh boy, we hit another dud, which, to be fair, don't know what I was expecting, but we watched the Amityville Horror remake from 2005. Yes, another one I watched for the first time. You guys might be wondering, Harry, why do you keep buying movies that you only watch for the first time with this? Because that's usually my intention when I buy movies, is I buy them to watch them, because I'll own them, and it's like, okay, well, cool, I'm watching Amityville Horror. Put the disc in my disc drive, and it's open, so it just, you just throw it in and it closes. But that's usually my intention, and very rarely does it work. I'll admit, I'm trying to watch a lot more movies from my collection for this series, but yeah, so Amityville Horror from '05, this was really laughably bad. I can't even say laughably bad, because I expected it to be bad. But it's a remake, of course, of the 76, I want to say? 76 Amityville Horror? I don't know if it says it on here. It happened in 74, so yeah, I think 76 is when the original film was released. Maybe 77. Doesn't matter. 70s version. Ryan Reynolds is the main character, and his wife is Melissa George, who I don't think I've seen in anything else, weirdly enough. Melissa Leo now, that's the one I've seen. She's in Prisoners. She's really good in that. But Amityville Horror, of course, this family, they changed the story a little bit, but basically this family moves into this house, Amityville, and a bunch of weird, freaky shit ends up going on. Their daughter, who's like 6, played by a young Chloe Grace Moretz, by the way. She was okay in this. She wasn't notable in any real way. She was okay. Gee, I wonder why. It's almost like, I don't care about being on Amityville. Fuck, I'm just getting paid, and I'm getting decent money for this, probably. Hopefully. I hope she got paid well for this. I hope everybody got paid well for being in this. But yeah, fucking, paranormal stuff happens. The daughter has an imaginary friend who isn't quite so imaginary. And at the end of the movie, they leave. That's basically it. So, the scares weren't good. There's one part where Ryan Reynolds is in the boating house, and I swear to fucking God, this is what I saw. I didn't go on YouTube and rewatch it or anything, so I'm going off the one time I've seen this movie. Swear to fucking God, his envision, a fucking CGI alien. I swear to God, an alien, like, runs towards the screen in, like, probably his mind. And I laughed my ass off. I could not stop fucking busting a gut over this. Over that fucking scene. And for the rest of the film, I couldn't stop mentioning the fucking alien. Where's the goddamn alien? And when's the alien gonna show back up? And it never did. We never got closure with that goddamn alien, unfortunately. So yeah, Amityville 5 wasn't good, and neither was Evil Dead Rise. I'm sorry to any fans of the Evil Dead franchise. Hey, you know what? Hey, Evil Dead fans, before you type your hate comments, I like the franchise. The first one is fun. The second one is fantastic. Army is good. Evil Dead 2013 was unneeded, but it was $1 at a yard sale. I like the Evil Dead movies. Don't think that I'm shitting on Evil Dead Rise because it's an Evil Dead film. I like Evil Dead as a franchise. I haven't seen Ash vs. Evil Dead yet, unfortunately. I want to. We watched the first episode and it was good, but stuff kept pushing it out of the way. Plus, it's like 5 seasons long, so, yeah. Evil Dead Rise kind of sucked, though. Firstly, it wasn't an Evil Dead movie. There was no Bruce Campbell, which I get. He's getting old, but he's probably still got fucking one left in him. You gotta think, at least one more Evil Dead movie. At the very least, I'll give him a fucking cameo. Not a voice-only cameo, because I know people are gonna mention, oh, he's a voice cameo in this movie. No, I mean a full, legit cameo as fucking Ash Ketchum. Ash, fucking, come on, Ash. Come on. I know it's not Ash Ketchum. I'm making a joke. I'm really not helping my case here, am I? But Evil Dead Rise, for real. So this movie, it starts us at a cabin. And I'm not going to go through, like, Thanksgiving, recapping every little thing, no. It starts at a cabin. There's this girl with her she's the third wheel. There's this couple who takes her to a cabin, and they, because they want to spend some time together or whatever. They want to fuck. She wants to get out, so she goes for a dip or whatever. The girlfriend ends up becoming a fucking deadite, or whatever they're called. A centipite. No, that's Hellraiser. Fuck. A deadite, I think is what they're called. I'm pretty sure. I'm really hoping that's the case. I'm not making myself look good as an Evil Dead fan. Potentially Evil Dead supporter, I'll say. What soccer team do you support? Evil Dead. But, she gets possessed, she eats the boyfriend, and then she goes out, she eats the fucking other girl. 3 days earlier! Or like a day earlier, something like that. I think it was 3 days. So, we then cut back in time to this family who's at this apartment. The mom's having a hard time supporting her kids, she has to move. Her sister just came back in town. She's like a touring artist. And she's there to just, see her sister, her family for a couple days. And the brother is really into like this evil Dead type shit. This evil, like demonic stuff. And the daughter is just kind of the daughter. I don't remember much about her anyways. She's not really useful for the plot anyways. And so it's them. They get locked in. The power ends up going out. Eventually, because the kids, they're sent out to go get pizza, and on the way back, they discover the fucking Book of the Dead, and they end up opening it. The brother does. He gets cut on the fucking thing, and of course, because the thing eats blood, the book eats blood. The book eats blood. Because the book eats blood, that rises one thing from the dead, and it fucking tries to get in the house. It kills the mother, I believe, and takes over her body, and tries to kill the kids. This really wasn't Evil Dead. It wasn't Evil Dead. It wasn't going for that horror comedy style, which, granted, neither was the 2013 one, which explains why the 2013 one kind of fucking sucked. Don't act like it was good. It sucked. Don't act like that. But no, seriously. If you like the 2013 Evil Dead, props to you. I just didn't. Agree to disagree. Please and thank you. Don't be a toxic fan. Please don't. Nobody likes those. If you liked it, you liked it. Good for you. I'm glad you did. I just didn't personally. But yeah, this movie did not feel like Evil Dead. It felt like they took a completely different film script, slapped Evil Dead on it, changed the artifact that the kids find to the Book of the Dead, put that thing in there, and then boom, new movie. Yeah, so again, this just wasn't good. I went into this wanting to enjoy it. See, that's the thing I don't get. Because I'm pretty sure this was released last year. I don't think this was this year. At least I'm pretty sure it wasn't. I might have said that this was 2013, but it was... No, yeah, it was 2013. See, that's one thing I don't get. What is it with a lot of 2013 movies sucking ass? And I don't mean like just ass, but I mean like Angry Video Gamer, like ass. This movie... I'm gonna hurt my throat really bad with that. Ow. This movie sucked. There was not much good about it. The gore wasn't impressive. The kills weren't that fun. The characters, I didn't care about whatsoever. They could have all died for all I cared. It wasn't a good horror film. It didn't do a good job at scaring me. It wasn't good at being an Evil Dead film. A, there was no fucking Ash. And B, there was no comedy. That's part of the appeal of Evil Dead, is it's part horror, part comedy. Like, most of the comedy comes from Ash, and the horror comes from the Deadites. And it didn't give us any horror because of the Deadites, and the Deadites, there's only one. And it didn't give us any comedy because there was no goddamn Ash, or there was no replacement to Ash to make us laugh. It failed at being an Evil Dead film. It failed at being a horror film. I don't get why this needed to exist. It wouldn't surprise me if I look on the poster and see Blumhouse's logo. But surprisingly, I don't think I do. So yeah, Evil Dead Rise. I'm gonna have to fucking get this one on DVD eventually to complete my collection. But it sucked. It wasn't good. I'm sorry. It just really kind of sucked. I apologize to anyone and anyone. Alright, because we're only halfway through, I'm going to try and speed these up slightly. No guarantees, though. We skipped the 19th because we had to recover from Evil Dead Rise, and on the 20th we watched The Others. So speaking of films with twists, similarly to Session 9, this was good. This was good, actually. It's a little tough to speak on this film, because you talk about a little thing, and eventually you're getting into spoilers, like, really quickly. So for a very basic plot, Nicole Kidman lives in this house with her 2 kids. She lives in this house with her 2 kids. And the 2 kids are deadly allergic to sunlight. They get any sunlight for, I think it's like a matter of minutes, or it's like 10, 20 seconds. And their skin starts like burning, and they're gonna die if they get any sunlight, basically. They have this allergy to the sun, or sunlight. I think it's the sun. But, she hires these butlers, or these nannies, these characters, these old people. 2 of them, one of them is mute. She doesn't speak, and the other is the one that does all the main talking. There's an old dude there who's just kind of the gardener and whatnot. And it's believed that the butlers are there to murder them in some way and take over the house. That's a very basic plot. I'm gonna get into spoilers for a second, so mute. I'll do this when it's time to watch. You guys know the drill by now. So, the twist ending for this film is that I don't even know if I want to say it, honestly. I don't. You know what? No, fuck it. I'm not gonna say anything on the twist ending. I'm gonna say it's a really good build up. It's a really, really solid film. I think if you're really into these kind of talky, more psychological horror films, this is a lot better than Session 9. This does a really good job of captivating you, getting you really interested in the film. And the twist, while I could see some of it coming, the way it was executed was really well done, and how they got it across to the viewers was really, really good too. I really liked the twist ending, and it made a lot of sense, actually. I think there was part of it that was a little bit cheesy, but it was really good. So The Others, I would recommend this, absolutely. And especially this thick case 2-disc set, because it's got a good amount of special features. It's got a documentary. It's got a visual effects piece. I believe that's on like how they made the special effects and whatever. They've got the story of a family dealing with the disease that's in the film. A look at the director. There's a still gallery of trailers. So yeah, there's a lot of features on this DVD set. So Alliance, I really wish they made more of these, because I really love them doing these unique big box sets. Not big box sets, but big DVD sets, I'll say. So yeah. And then, so me and my best friend watched that on the 20th, and then on the 21st, me and my homeboy Sporty, we watched, Drake and Josh, we watched the entire series all in one day. No, we watched Season 4, Episode 8, The Storm. That's the episode where Drake has to perform at this concert, but it gets rained out because there's a huge storm that their father, Walter, couldn't predict on the weather, which is pretty funny, and they get all rained in. Very basic plot. Very funny, though. Oh, and there's also a side plot that Drake's current girlfriend is talking with his current girlfriends, because Megan put them all together, of course. Megan. And he wants to find out what they're talking about, and eventually he does find out, and it's pretty funny. So yeah, it's a really good episode, really fun, one of my favorites, one of Sporty's favorites as well, so shout out Sporty for checking this out with me. Yeah, I'm supposed to talk about. Good episode. Fuck Dan Schneider, and fuck Brian Peck. Then on the 22nd, we watched, I forgot that this is also coming up, we watched The Killing of a Sacred Deer. We're into the posters for a while. Killing of a Sacred Deer, I don't want to spoil much about this film, because this is fucking fantastic. Oh, by the way, shout out to Nicole Kidman, fantastic in the others, really good here. Yeah, this film, so, again, I don't want to say much about this, because I want to avoid spoilers, because this is a really good film. Highly recommend this. One of the best horror films of the past decade, I would say. This was from 2017. Oh, by the way, the others was the 2001. Amityville Horror was from 2005, and Drake and Josh episode was from 2007. So The Killing of a Sacred Deer is about this doctor played by Colin Farrell. Fantastic actor, highly underrated. Glad he's finally starting to get his flowers because of the Penguin. I know a lot of people know who he is, but he isn't nearly as respected as I think he should be. Really fantastic actor. And this is one of his best roles that I've seen him in so far. Shout out Daredevil. I'm sorry. Colin Farrell's never going to watch this video. I could say, fuck Colin Farrell. I love him. And he probably would never hear about this. So yeah. Nobody clip that out of context. Please don't. Please don't. I love you, Colin Farrell, for real. You're a really good actor. So it stars this guy, Colin Farrell, who's a doctor. This guy, Colin Farrell. Stars a guy who's a doctor, and of course he's married to Nicole Kidman. They have 2 kids, and he kind of is mentoring this guy who wants to be a doctor as well. He wants to be the type of doctor that Colin Farrell is. And so they have these kind of secret meetings where they just talk, they just kind of, know each other. They get to know each other, he helps him out a little, but he helps the kid out. The kid's clearly got some type of either autism or just, mental disability, something like that, something along those lines. And eventually he stops seeing the kid as much, not pushing him away, but just, family, doctor stuff, keeps coming up, and he gets a little bit too close to the family, and Colin's trying to distance himself, and then all of a sudden, just out of the blue, his son is paralyzed. And I'm going to stop there, because from there, it gets really good. This film is really, really fucking good. I don't want to say much else about the film other than it's a really good build-up. It's really fucking interesting. The ending, I didn't see coming, and holy shit is it dark. But yeah, really good film. Recommend it 100%. Killing of a Sacred Deer, we watched that on the 22nd. On the 23rd, what a switch and change. What a switch up. We watched Frankenweenie. So, a Tim Burton Disney film. It was okay. It wasn't that good. I mean, I wanted to like this movie a lot because Winona Ryder was in it, and I loved Winona Ryder. Absolutely loved Winona Ryder. I thought she was really adorable in this. She plays one of the main characters' friends. I thought she was really fun in this. The cast was really fun as well. It's a really good cast. It's got Jeff Garlins, I know, is in it. I'm trying to remember the rest, and I can't, but I know it's a good cast. I think this is the one with Anna Kendrick. I don't think that's Paranorman. I think it's this one. Spoiler. But it was okay. I mean, it was Disney, so I kind of instinctively want to distance myself from it, but it was alright. I thought it was fun. Not really much to mention. It was kind of forgettable. It's one of those films that I remember liking when I watch it, but I'm going to forget about it, and I'm going to watch it again in like a decade and enjoy it and rinse and repeat. So on the 24th, then we watched a pretty fun movie, Paranorman. We watched this one. Both of these from 2012, actually, funny enough. So we went on a bit of a 2012 kick. Me and my best friend. This was watched on the 24th. Paranorman, very fun movie. Frankenweenie, by the way, is about a kid who resurrects his dog from the dead. After it gets hit by a fucking car. And, as a science project, a bunch of other people want to resurrect their animals or use his dog. And, yeah, it just goes from there. Paranorman now is about... It's a really fun movie. It's about this kid who has the ability to see ghosts. He sees spirits. He sees his grandmother, for example. It's always on the couch. I was always asking him about, oh, what horror film are you watching? Oh, blah, 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 ma. Oh, what are they doing now? It's like, oh, well, the monster just, kidnapped this girl and ate the dude or whatever. And, she's like, well, that's not really nice of him. He's going to spoil his dinner. Cute shit like that. And he has the ability to see ghosts. And his uncle, who has been long distanced from the family, ends up coming back I'm trying not to spoil this too much. Ends up coming back one day because he wants to give Norman a book. He wants to give Norman a book. He's telling him that the end of the world is near if he doesn't read from this book. And he does, and turns out he didn't do it right, and he resurrects a bunch of zombies. It's a really fun movie, though. It was really fun. I thought it was really, really cutesy. I thought it was a good film. I thought it was much better than Frankenweenie, which, again, kind of funny. These two films that are both look like stop motion, both around the same, came out around the same time. Exactly. I think they were both in August to October. Really not that much far apart. Paranorman, made by the same people who made Coraline, actually, so it was going to be pretty good. It's made by Laika, who really, really, really good company so far, from what I've seen off their stuff. Paranorman was fun. I thought it was good. I thought the ending was really, really sweet, too. The way that he ends up bringing everything back to normal, I'll say. Really, really sweet, and it was really, really adorable for a kid's film. I thought it was a really, really nice message to send, so Paranorman worked out well. And then, next up, I watched by myself on the 24th, Jeff Dunham, Minding the Monsters. Why did I watch this? Because it was October, closest thing to a Halloween special he's got, so why not? I'll watch it. It was okay. I thought it was alright. I think the costumes were probably the best part of the special. Walter is dressed up as a monster. Peanut and Jose Jalapeno are Batman and Robin. Batnut and Ruben. I forgot what the other two were dressed as. Bubba J and Ahmed the Dead Terrorist, but very fun. I'm a huge Jeff Dunham fan. I've talked about it a little bit, but I really don't buy into he's racist. He's using stereotypes to make fun of these people. It's like, not really. He's using stereotypes to make jokes. I never bought into the Jeff Dunham as racist allegations. Minding the Monsters, not one of his best specials. It was alright, though. I still had fun with it. I still laughed a good bit. But Minding the Monsters, it was alright. I'll probably watch more of his stuff in the very near future. So yeah, and then on the 24th that night as well, we watched Zombieland. Me and my best friend both watched Zombieland. I've talked about Zombieland a lot on this channel, especially for the top 100 favorite movies, so I'm going to keep it short and simple. Group of strangers, Tallahassee, Columbus, Little Rock, and I forgot what the last one's name is. God damn it. Columbus, Tallahassee, Little Rock, and fuck me. I don't remember the name. I forgot what the other one's name is, but yeah. Emma Stone. They're all survivors of the zombie apocalypse, and they want to get to Pacific Playland, do the girls, and the guys just want to get to wherever the hell they are going. And yeah, Jesse Eisenberg is alone. He then meets Tallahassee. They meet the other girls. Wichita. I fucking knew I'd get it. Little Rock and Wichita. Or Wichita and Little Rock. Emma Stone is Wichita, and yeah. Woody Harrelson's fantastic in this. He's fucking hilarious. Everybody's great in this film. I think everybody knows about it by now. There's a phenomenally hilarious Bill Murray cameo in this. I think he's great in this movie. Zombieland, highly recommend it. I will continue to love this film. The day I stop loving Zombieland, Shaun of the Dead, stuff like that, that is the day I am officially old. So yeah, with James Rolfe, the Angry Video Game Nerd, I believe with him it's a Mad Mad World. For me, it's Zombieland and Shaun of the Dead and stuff like that. The day I stop loving that stuff, that's the day my world will end. Or wait, no. That's a song. Shout out Merle Haggard. And then on the 25th, we watched 2 movies. We watched Joe Bob's Beelzebub Bash on Shudder. Highly recommend Shudder if you're if you're a horror fan. Firstly, you probably already have Shudder, but highly recommend Shudder because it's a really, really good streaming service. We watched, the first movie was Satan's Little Helper from 2004. This was really fun. Wasn't a great movie, but it was really fun. So basically it's about this kid who's obsessed with this video game called Satan's Little Helper. You go around killing people, and it's basically GTA without the GTA. Wait, shit. It's an open world game. It's like an 8-bit Game Boy Advance game where you go around, you push old ladies into traffic, and you kill people. It's really funny. And this dude who's a murderer the kid thinks he's Satan and wants him to kill his sister's boyfriend because his sister just came back from another state and he wants to go trick-or-treating with her. There's this weird subplot for the first 20 minutes where this brother has a crush on his sister, and then after 20 minutes in, it's never brought up again. It's never brought up. It's mentioned twice, and then that's it. So that was admittedly kind of funny. But wants the Satan dude to kill his sister's boyfriend, he just knocks him out, and the Satan dude tries to kill the rest of the family, and it was really funny. It was really goofy. It was really dumb. It was low budget. We had a lot of fun with it. I highly recommend it. And then Joe Bob finishes that movie, and he mentions that stay tuned because we're not done yet. We're doing the double feature in our next film. Our second film is Late Night with the Devil. So yeah. I ended up watching Late Night with the Devil twice this month. I already gave my thoughts on it, so I'm going to give my thoughts on the Joe Bob commentary. He interviewed David Dismalchin, which was really, really fun. It was really entertaining. He also interviewed the director of Satan's Little Helper. I was not a huge fan of him. Seemed a little bit pretentious, unfortunately. Dismalchin, though, you could tell he loves guys like Joe Bob and Sven Gulli. He even mentioned by name. That got a pop out of me. You could tell he loves horror hosts, horror film. He loves stuff like that, which is funny because he mentioned he grew up in a I forget if it was I think it was Catholic household where he was not allowed to watch that stuff, but he ended up doing it because everybody's got a rebellious side. So yeah, he ended up watching a lot of horror films and loved it, and he loved the idea of playing a horror host. And weirdly enough as well, and something I forgot to mention, he was the only American in the cast. So if you watch this film and you're listening to everybody speaking like an American, speaking English really well like an American, yeah, they're all Aussies. They're all Australian. Which is fucking insane, considering I could have sworn everybody in that cast was American. So they did a damn good job. So yeah, again, Late Night with the Devil, really good movie. We're moving on. Next up, oh my god, on the 26th we watched In a Violent Nature. This is another Shudder film. It was a Shudder original. On the 27th I got to talk about this film very briefly. So, this film is a movie. It's a slasher where the characters, it's like a Jason movie. These characters show up at a lake house, and this guy comes and acts them off one by one. The only thing being, this film is from the POV of the killer, which is very unique. Really great concept. The issue, it's fucking boring. Literally, we made the same joke, me and my best friend. in Call. This is Walking Simulator 2024. This is a walking simulator. 90% of this goddamn movie is walking. And when you get to the kills, it's either so fucking artistically just kill them off screen, don't show much. Or you see it, but it's from like 20 feet away, and it's so boring. How do you fuck up a plot like this? Like, artsy bullshit needs to stay out of horror. Again, something like this in a violent nature. This sucked. This was so boring. And not to mention, when the killer finally dies, I don't care about spoilers. Nobody's going to watch this fucking bullshit movie anyways. When the killer finally dies, the movie refuses to end. It goes on for like 15 minutes. Where the main girl gets in a fucking car because someone like is driving down the highway, picks her up, she's a good civilian. And they just talk for like 15 minutes. And I just wanted the movie to end. I genuinely almost exited out of the film before the movie ended. This movie sucked and it's getting a sequel. God damn, holy shit, this movie sucked. Alright, on the 27th, me and Sporty watched 2 episodes of 16. We watched the Boob episode, which was Whoa Baby, Season 6, Episode 4. And then we watched Unhappy Anniversary, Season 3, Episode 6. So, Whoa Baby is about one of the guys. This is my first time watching 16 in like a decade, by the way. At least 12, 13 years, actually. So I don't remember a lot of the characters' names. But the Chad of the group. It's about the Chad of the group who wants to start making expansive bras for women. This is a really awkward episode to talk about. One of the girls wants to get bigger boobs because she wants to talk to to a boy she likes, or a guy she likes. And of course the plots end up interjecting. It's kind of like Seinfeld for kids. Not kids, but for teens. It was pretty funny, actually. It was a pretty funny episode. It's by a lot of the same people, I believe, who did Total Drama Island. And that, from what I've seen, is pretty fun. And then Unhappy Anniversary is about the two characters who are dating. The two here on the left. The hot one and the girl. No, but it's about the two on the left. The two on the far left who are... That sounded really weird the way I said that. But the two who are on the left. They're having their 3-month anniversary. And there's conflicting opinions on their friend group if it should be a big thing celebrated, a small thing, and it's a fun episode. It's pretty good, so I recommend it. Not much to talk about. They were fun. I enjoyed it. So on the 28th, me and my best friend then watched Mean Creek from 2004. This is a really, really good film. Surprisingly really good. So this film was about a group of kids who go out and the one of them, played by Kieran Culkin, who's really good, by the way, in this movie. He's really good in a lot of stuff I've seen him in. Which, unfortunately, is not much, but from what I have seen him in, he's pretty good. Wait, no, fuck, that's Rory I'm thinking of. Still, Kieran was really good in this. I'm thinking of Rory as the one that I saw in Scream 4. So, my apologies, Kieran, but I'm sure you were a really good actor. You were on Succession for all 5 seasons. 6? 4? I forget. But yeah, you're pretty good in that, from what I've heard, so... Props. Not like you're ever gonna fucking watch this video anyways. But these kids, this one kid, Kieran Culkin, gets bullied by Josh Peck for touching his video camera. So his older brother ends up devising a plan where they're going to take this kid, they're gonna invite him to Kieran Culkin's birthday. They're gonna go out in the water, they're gonna fish, and then they plan to have Josh Peck strip naked, jump in the water, they're going to paddle off and make him walk home naked. They're going to do that. So they go through with it. They get on the boat, they're playing a game of truth or dare, and Josh Peck gets dared to do that, get in the water naked and swim home. But something ends up going wrong, and yeah, so... It's a very simple plot, but it's really, really good. It was really, really solid. It's not really that much of a horror film as much as it's a suspense drama, honestly. It's really just kind of a suspenseful drama. Josh Peck was fantastic in this, of course. There's the famous line from this movie, "Shut the fuck up, Clyde!" I I might put the clip in here if I really think I can get away with the next word that comes out of Josh Peck's mouth. But it's a really, really good film. Really good. Aside from the meme of "Shut the fuck up, Clyde," it's a really, really good film. Josh Peck is really good in this. Kieran Culkin's good. Most of the cast are really solid in this, actually. Really simple. It's really short, too. I believe it's about an hour 20. It's really not that long. For a budget of $500,000, it doesn't look it. It looks like a budget of a couple million. Like, not 20, 30 million, but, 2, 3 million, And the funny thing I will say, this movie came out in 2004. It came out 5 days after the world premiere of Drake and Josh on Nickelodeon. Or I should say, it premiered at, I think it was TIFF. I think it's Toronto International Film Festival. I believe it premiered there 5 days later. It was at some festival it premiered 5 days later. So, that's fun. And then, as well on the 28th, we ended up watching Signs, the Mel Gibson M. Night Shyamalan movie. So, I watched Cabin in the Woods a couple months ago. We watched Signs tonight. We were supposed to watch The Sixth Sense, which I still have never seen. But I opted to go for Signs because I figured why not? Let's double feature this and something else, which we'll get to in a minute. But Signs was not good. Surprisingly boring at points. It was a movie where, of course, Mel Gibson is this farmer. He's brothers with Joaquin Phoenix. And he has 2 kids, Abigail Breslin, and I forget the other one's name because I don't think he had one. But Abigail Breslin is the little daughter. She's really adorable. And she was really adorable as a kid. When she was in Little Miss Sunshine, she was really adorable in that too. But here, she's 2 years younger because 4 years younger because this was 2002. But yeah, so Mel Gibson, he's this farmer, and he... I watched 2 movies with Abigail Breslin this month because fucking Zombieland too. That's fun. But Mel Gibson is this farmer, and he ends up getting a crop sign in his cornfield, and eventually finds out that a lot of people are getting them, and that it's aliens that are responsible for it, and it's a standard alien invasion movie. And the way they're defeated is probably the fucking goofiest thing imaginable. So I'm going to leave it at that. For anyone who hasn't seen this movie, check it out. It's okay. But what we then watched was... Yes, this is right. Scary Movie 3. We watched Scary Movie 3. That is right. Why do I not have the cover, the title in the cover? I don't know. But yeah, this movie, of course, it's Anna Faris, the second to last one that she would be in of these. Yeah, Regina Hall's last scary movie that she was in. Anna Faris. This is mostly a parody of The Ring. There's a parody of the others, actually, which I had seen a decade ago, this movie. Never got that was a reference, that was a parody of the others until I just watched it. So, kind of fun that I watched the others and then ended up watching the movie that parodies it, which is kind of funny. But, yeah, so Anna Faris is someone who ends up getting the Ring video, and it's a parody of The Ring. She ends up trying to stop it before it reaches the 7 days. Queen Latifah and Eddie Griffith share a scene together. Leslie Nielsen's the president of the United States, because let's be honest, that would be hilarious. Anthony Anderson is pretty funny. Simon Rex exists. Charlie Sheen is the parody for Signs. Oh, him and Enema are the sorry, that's Simon Rex. I mean, are the Signs parody. Yeah. So honestly, like thinking back, like it's funny. It is a funny movie, but thinking about it, this movie really kind of was 2 in 1. It was a Ring parody and a Signs parody. But yeah, it was fun. It was enjoyable. It wasn't great, but it was all right, I think. So yeah. All right. Next up, we are going to. Never mind. For some reason, it went all the way back. So next up, God damn it, we watched. What the fuck? Why you? Okay, I'm going to skip all the way to the end of the thing. So yeah, we watched what very well might be the worst movie of 2024. I'm sure you guys all know it. It's somehow worse than Deadpool and Wolverine. That's right. We watched Joker Voulez Dos. Holy shit, where do I start with this movie? You know, I'm not. Because you guys have seen all the reviews for this movie already. It's as bad as everybody said it was. It's god-awful. It's fucking hard. Lady Gaga can't sing. Joaquin Phoenix somehow can't sing, despite him being really good in Walk the Line. Lady Gaga can't sing, despite having auto-tune. The musical aspect sucked. The court drama, I wanted to like, but it was just kind of boring, unfortunately. The little dude, Gary, from the first movie came back. He was fantastic in his one scene. Yeah, this basic movie is, after the events of the first Joker, Arthur Fleck was put in a menstruation camp. No, he was put in a mental institute where they're supposed to help him get better, but they just abuse the people. He meets Lady Gaga, who plays Lee Quinzel. Not Harley Quinn, but Lee Quinzel. They fall in love, and he goes on trial for killing Arthur Murray, whatever his name was. Larry Murphy. He kills Larry Murphy, the hockey player. And then, Murray Franklin, that was his name. He kills Murray for killing Murray Franklin and those guys in the subway. And then he breaks out. So, yeah. This fucking sucked. I'm sorry. I can't talk about this movie again. It was horrible. It sucked. Speaking of overrated junk, we're talking Possession from 1981. This is a movie that we watched on the 30th. We also watched Joker 2 on the 29th, by the way. But Possession from 1981 on the 30th. This is a movie that actually Joe Bob also covered, but we didn't watch the Joe Bob version. We actually found out he reviewed it like 30 minutes into the film, and that version was 3 hours long. Jesus, I would love a 30-hour version of Joe Bob just talking about movies. But that was 3 hours, we didn't watch it. So Possession wasn't good. It was an interesting concept of a film. It's about this couple who are going through a divorce or a separation, either one or the other. I think it's just a separation. She's fucking someone on the side, and he doesn't know it at first, and he's trying to keep them together, but he ends up going insane. And yeah, it's not a good film. I'm sorry. I'm surprised Joe Bob liked it. It wasn't a good movie. I didn't like it. I knew going into it that it was going to be very artsy. I thought it was going to be a decent drama horror, because that's what it was listed as, a drama horror. There's one dude in this who acts like a gay Robin Williams, and he is the worst actor in this film. Easy. It's got the dude from Jurassic Park, Sam Neill. He's the main dude in this film. Yeah, overall, it was just a really, really shitty film. I don't get how people liked this. It was really bad. I hated it. I can't say I hated it. I just didn't enjoy it. I didn't like the way the film took so goddamn long to get to the fact that the girl is taking guys to the apartment and killing them to feed to her monster to make a replica of her husband. Yeah, that's the big plot twist in the film. So the actual horror aspect is merely a plot convenience when it gets down to it. Yeah. And then the husband dies, and she dies at the end, and the clone walks free at the end. Whoop-de-fucking-do. Movie sucked. Fuck it, I'll say it. Movie sucked. So yeah, and then on the 31st, we watched 3 films, the first of which was Hocus Pocus. It was alright. This is, I think, my 3rd time watching this movie. Didn't like it as much as the first 2 times, unfortunately, but it was still alright. I thought it was fun. Parts of it were funny. Wasn't, again, as funny as I thought it was before. It was okay. Hocus Pocus, I'll always enjoy, because Sarah Jessica Parker is fucking hot in that movie. And then, right after, we watched Trick or Treat. Shout out Andy, Angry Grandpa, for saying Trick or Treat in one video. Trick or Treat, which I'm going to take a slip off, because let's be honest, this is the better cover. This is, I believe, my 3rd... Okay, never mind. I'm going to put the slipcover back on. So, yeah. Trick or Treat. This is a pretty good film, pretty good horror film. It's an anthology. I think a lot of people have seen this film already, but yeah, it's a oh god, producer Bryan Singer. Oh no, that's not good. But yeah, So anyways, yeah, it's a horror anthology film. It's stories that all kind of end up tying together in a very, very loose way. It's about this kind of pumpkinhead thing called Sam. Shout out Sam Hain. But he's a little hard dude. And he's basically making sure that people are going by the rules of Halloween, you know? Be sure to hand out candy, keep up your decorations until the November 1st, until the morning, you know? Stuff like that. And it's really fantastic. It's really, really good. I personally still think I like Krampus more, but Trick or Treat is still really good. My favorite story... Oh, fuck. That's tough to say. Because all of them are really good. I love the one with Dylan Baker where he's the main guy, I should say. Where he's the main guy. That one's really good. I also really, really like the one with the kids and they go down to try and discover the old bus. You know, that I think was really cool because that's kind of reminiscent of like Are You Afraid of the Dark type stuff. But Trick or Treat overall really good. I thought it's got some jokes in there, but it's primarily a really funny, pretty creepy film. And also, Charlie Brown's an asshole. Love that line from the kid. Which conveniently brings us to our last film, which is It's the Great Pumpkin, Charlie Brown. I'm really happy I caught that in midair. That was really fun. That was really cool. So yeah, It's the Great Pumpkin, Charlie Brown. This was good. This was really fun. I think it's not my first time seeing this. I think it's my first time watching this in like 13 years, though. The last time I watched this when I was like a kid. It was really fun. It was really enjoyable. Yeah, shout out these old school Paramount discs. I really wish they'd go back to these. Loved the way they look. So yeah, Linus, he's trying to find the Great Pumpkin. Charlie Brown's just trying to celebrate Halloween. It's a very simple special. Really fun, really, really quirky, really cutesy. Snoopy is a fucking dog, and he's suffering from PTSD, unfortunately. But yeah. This also came with the You're Not Elected, Charlie Brown, which I haven't watched yet, but maybe I'll watch that at some point. So, yeah. Great Pumpkin, Charlie Brown. That's a quite decent special there. So, yeah. I tried not to make this video an hour long. We ended up going to an hour and a half. So, yeah. That is going to do it for today's stream, guys. Thank you all so much for watching. Please do not forget to like, comment, subscribe, favorite, share on other, which includes, but is not limited to, YouTube, Facebook, X, Instagram, Tumblr, and everything else. My name is Horace. Subscribe to join the HC Club, the Sub Hub, and the D Nation if you're a member of the Mod Squad. Thank you for promoting comments on any streams and or videos. It is much greatly appreciated. Check out the links in the description. And I'm going to say it for this video because I didn't realize that it hasn't been fixed. I finally updated my letterbox. It is now the right one in the description. It's not that I changed accounts, it's that I changed the name. So I forgot that the old name now will no longer work. I am now Harry Rice on Letterboxd, surprisingly. No one has had that name, I believe. So, yeah, you guys can now legitimately go down and see what films I've watched this year, and you can do all that stuff. So, yeah, I'm always constantly updating if I find movies that I've watched that for some reason I haven't reviewed on Letterboxd yet. I'm always adding some of those, so just letting you guys know. If you do see movies on Letterboxd that I review that aren't mentioned in here, it's because they're movies that I watched before that for some reason either the reviews didn't properly save or whatever. You know, it's movies that I've watched before. So, yeah. Links in the description again. Thank you all so much for watching. My name is Harry Rice, and I am out. Love you guys. See you guys. Bye, guys. Love you guys. See you guys. Bye, guys. Love you guys. See you guys. Bye, guys. Bye.